Judging The Last of Us Part 2 from leaks is seriously dumb. A less confident, less focused sequel. Not as good as I think it is. A brilliant game that is not what it seems. Isn't for everyone, director warns. Why is The Last of Us Part 2 getting so much hate online? Jeez, stop! I will play the game anyways. I loved the first game and I will love the sequel. But the leaks are awful. Naughty Dogs are keep your mouth shut, okay? Nothing will stop me. 100 gigabytes of empty space? Get out of here! Okay, I never wanted to play the game anyways. But since I'm a professional game developer myself, I can make my own Last of Us 2. Who is laughing now, huh, Naughty Dogs?
You can say that again, pal.
Just to be clear, let me clarify that our game won't be called The Last of Us, but instead it will be Some of Us, as it should have been.
But why AtymTIma?
Stupid Shine, didn't you know that the original game was named Adni is Nas in Russian language, which is translated as Some of Us? Everyone knows you should never argue with Russian people. Now go out! Alright, the original game was made in 3D, and guess what? They made the sequel in 3D as well, spending more than 5 years on making the same game with updated textures. Neil Druckmann thinks we're stupid to play the same game twice, but the subscribers of AtymTIma Games are big brains. We will make the game in 2D, because everybody knows that 2D is better. The target platform will be mobile devices, because PS4 is expensive and I genuinely care about my fans as opposed to Neil. And it will be a runner with the infinite procedural generation to give players an unlimited amount of content to play. But why a runner? Well, the answer is quite easy. There are 3 types of players of the original Last of Us. Those who slowly but confidently eliminate the enemies one by one with the strategy, the berserks who play too much GTA 5 and take the direct approach, annihilating everybody, and me, the one who was always running from the enemy crying for help. Most of the time, except this stupid mission where it's surrounded in a small room, dying again and again and again and yep, again. So I hope it makes sense why the true sequel should focus on being the runner more, as opposed to this fake. Unfortunately, I'm not an artist, so in order to create the asymmetric tile maps for the game, I will cut some parts from the first game and use them as the textures for all of my cubes. Done. Technically, transferring some parts to the sequel is not stealing, right? The first Last of Us was a traumatic and sad experience, and I truly wanted the sequel to be even more tragic. That's how I came up with the story. Joel was preparing for a Halloween and decided to dress up as a clicker. But when Ellie saw him, she thought he has transformed into one. Joel wanted to take off the mask, but it was too small and was stuck on his head. Meanwhile, Ellie knew that she'd get rid of Joel, so that's how he started running from her. So sad. I wasn't really sure that the head I drew for Joel was close to how the clickers look like, but then I realized that from the distance it was quite similar, so I left it as it is. Then I moved on to Ellie, and one thing I realized in the process of drawing is that she really reminded me of someone. Someone nostalgic, Oh no, not you, Billy! I need to do something, quickly, okay, here we go. Jeez, what the? It's a Yammer from SpongeBob! Delete this! Delete! Okay, once I finished drawing everything I needed, the next objective was to create a procedurally generated map. Frankly, it's quite easy with Unity, let me show you. First you write the hello world, and then replace with this line of code, and voila, the map is ready. So the idea was to control Joel, who tries to jump over the landmines and dodge from Ellie's bullets. To make it work, I wrote the AI with IQ of 500 for Ellie, so that she jumps over any obstacle, precisely follows Joel, and even has a gun. What? Why doesn't Joel also have a gun to defend himself? Well, if you've played the first game, you should have known that Joel obviously ran out of bullets, as it always happened to him throughout the game. Always. And just to clarify, there is no meaning for giving Ellie a skateboard story-wise. I was just lazy to make the animations for her. But I gave her this little square indicator that turns red when she is about to shoot and then yellow when she is ready to shoot. Once I finished doing the mechanics, it was finally time for audio. It didn't take too long to write the main music theme for a game because, well, I googled the notes. But making the remix of the music wasn't enough, and in the next morning I recorded sound effects using professional equipment. For example, that's how I made the skateboard sound. Additionally, I made two separate sound effects for shooting the bullet, one pan to the left ear and another to the right ear. This way, it would be even easier to distinguish from which line the bullet was shot.
What are you so afraid of?
Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention that, but we even invited the same voice actors for both Joel and Ellie, and together we recorded some phrases.
Admit that you wanted to get rid of me the whole time.
And of course, The Last of Us wouldn't be The Last of Us without this. Initially, I wanted to make my own version of the sound, but for some reason it didn't work as intended. So I just googled the sound. After several hours of minor fixes, the game was finally finished. Except it was at this moment when I realized that it was supposed to be a mobile game, but I made the controls for computer. So, after another several hours of changes and reinstallations of Xcode, the game was finally finished. It's time to check it out. Well, forget it. Stupid game, what am I doing with my life? Hey, but I have a good news. Who needs The Last of Us when we have Raid Shadow Legends, a visually stunning realistic fantasy RPG with hundreds of champions from 16 playable... Okay, I'm just kidding. I have 7 subs, no one would pay me for ads. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next week.